There is a new Wicked trailer, and we have to talk about it right now! I'm not Cynthia Erivo. Anyway, welcome to Teacup for One. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and we have a almost 4 minute long, brand new, official trailer for Wicked. Listen, I thought what they gave us on Super Bowl day was it. I thought it was gonna be like, here's your minute, see you in November. They So needless to say, it has been a big day for Oz fans around the world. I mean, also, on top of getting the Wicked trailer today, it's also L. Frank Baum's birthday, so big shout out to the guy who created the wonderful world of Oz. In my mind, he's John Ritter. If you know, you know. Anyway, let's watch the trailer. It is time for another classic Teacup for One trailer review and reaction. If you haven't watched one of these before, here's the drill. We're going to watch the trailer together, but I'm going to be stopping and talking through it a lot. So, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, go watch the trailer, come back here, watch it with me. Let's go.
Are people born wicked? Or do they have wickedness thrust upon them?
Ooh! 10 seconds in, let's talk about that opening shot. That opening shot is just absolute chef's kiss. It is taking visual icons that I think we can subconsciously recognize from the 1939 movie. I think one of the most iconic shots from the MGM film is when they first see Emerald City in the distance. You've got Emerald City, you've got the Yellow Brick Road plus the Poppy Field. We're getting all of those components in this opening shot. So yes, it is classic Oz, but it is reimagined for this Oz universe. And you might have noticed, I mean, you also might not have noticed, there's a lot happening visually here and it's only like a split second, but a rainbow. Rainbows and Emerald City aside, let's talk about that first spoken line from Ariana Grande. Sorry, Ariana Grande. Yeah, that's right, I saw you in the comments last time. It's the Canadian accent. Anyway, that first line. Are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? This is pretty exciting, because I think this is the first time we're actually hearing a classic line from Wicked spoken by Ariana Grande. I mean, she had some great moments in the last trailer, but they were all fun, they were new, they were surprises that were unique to this film. But hearing this, especially at the top of this trailer, it's just so exciting, man. It's like hearing how an actor is going to approach to be or not to be. Maybe that's given it a little too much credit, but just hear me out. I love how she's adding like a little bit of extra emphasis and a little bit of extra oomph to the word have. Are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? It's giving attention, it's giving emphasis to actions that are being thrust upon somebody that are thus putting them into that position of someone who's wicked. I don't know, it's really just, it's setting the stage beautifully for the story that's going to unfold in these 2 films. That line delivery has some very clear Kristen Chenoweth vibes, but at the same time, it's unique. It's making me rethink about that line in the context of the story. This is everything that I love about seeing familiar material adapted. Let's keep watching.
You're green.
I am.
We already saw most of these clips in the teaser trailer, so I don't have much more to contribute, but I will just say again, and this is going to be a running through line with me whenever I talk about Wicked, I am in love with how much they lean into practical sets and practical effects for this film. It just makes such a difference as a viewer, at least to my eye, because as we all know, I'm not a fan of CGI. Seeing that opening shot of Shiz University, it's magic. It's pure movie magic. Now, of course, I'm sure there were a few CGI embellishments, but it just makes such a difference to know that Oz was actually built and created. I mean, as an Oz fan, getting to see it brought to the screen with the same care and attention to detail as like Lord of the Rings has gotten in the past 20-ish, 30-ish years, Harry Potter, Narnia, even getting to see Oz in that light, it makes me really really bleeping happy. And kind of on that note, I mean, the production design and the costume design are something I'm going to be talking about a lot throughout this whole trailer review, and probably anytime I talk about this film. One thing that stood out to me in this new trailer were the striped socks in the foreground when Elphaba is walking into Shiz. I love that because it's almost like it's harkening back, and not even almost like, it's definitely harkening back to the Wicked Witch of the East socks from the 1939 movie. And that's what I love about films like these, prequel films that are exploring lore that's already firmly established in our collective consciousness. Because we all know the Wicked Witch of the East wears stripy socks, but if we kind of establish that stripy socks like that are something that's cool and trendy, it gives more dimension, I feel, to Nesseros. Especially when she eventually becomes the Wicked Witch of the East and is still wearing those socks. It's almost like she's saying, hey guys, I might be in my Wicked era, but I'm still cool, right? Look, I'm wearing the socks. So that's what I find really exciting about prequel movies like this. Just sort of planting the seeds for things that are familiar and creating story reasons to justify them. Am I thinking too much about socks? Wouldn't be the first time. Let's keep watching.
Welcome, new students, to Shiz University. Miss Elphaba, you can room with Miss Glinda.
Popular.
You're gonna be popular. We will talk about popular in a second. I just want to take a moment to talk about that shot of Fyiero walking into Shiz, almost like it's one step away from him walking down a red carpet at the frickin' Met Gala. And it makes total sense because I keep forgetting Fyiero is a literal prince. I mean, it's almost got the same vibes as though, like, it's the 90s and all of a sudden Prince William is going to your private school. Of course, all the teenage girls would be lined up with their magazines that say, "We love Will." I'm so endlessly entertained that there seems to be hand-sketched tabloids depicting Fiero's face. I love it. Let's keep watching.
I know about popular. Oh, I saved you some space, by the way.
Do you really think this is fair?
I do not. I was promised a private suite. But
Thanks for asking. Okay, our first listen to popular. It is popular than I thought it was going to. Actually, what am I saying? It's poppier than I thought it was going to be. It's Ariana freaking Grande. But that said, you know what? I am very pleasantly surprised with Ariana Grande and everything that I've seen pertaining to her in this movie. I'm starting to realize that she has far, far more vocal versatility than I was giving her credit for. And just even in these few seconds of popular, yes, it does have a pop sound, but like to my non-musically trained ear, it sounds like she's adding a bit more of a musical theater flair by singing it in more of a mixed voice as opposed to that lighter, poppier head voice that, you know, we all know her to use when she sings her pop stuff. One challenge I think I'm going to have, and I feel like most Wicked purists are going to have when the movie soundtrack comes out, is having to hear new arrangements of these songs that we've been listening to on repeat for over 20 years now. I think this is what we saw with the Mean Girls movie. When you listen to those arrangements from the Mean Girls film independent of the original Broadway cast recording, I've grown to really love them, but I was jarred at first because they were so different. And kind of even hearing this little bit of popular, I think that might be the case with these songs from Wicked. Also, I did not realize that there were so many shades of pink. I want to say that this movie is going to take home all the Oscars for production design and costume design, but if this year's Oscars taught us anything with Barbie, is that the Academy voters don't like pink. Let's keep going. I'm loving the la-las. Let me just say that, first and foremost. Building on what I said previously, I just love the placement that we're hearing from Ariana here. Like, the la-las, it would have been so easy for either her or for the musical director or for the Universal producers to make the choice to have her go full 2024 pop sound with it. Like, it could have been la, 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 la. That was a horrible impersonation, and Ariana Grande, you know you don't sound like that. But just to try to establish the point, her la-las are resonant. We've got a nice vibrato going there. It's gorgeous. Also, what really thrills me about these few seconds here is that it looks like What Is This Feeling is going to be an epic musical montage, and I love epic musical montages. I think there is so much possibility for fun in What Is This Feeling to just kind of show the college shenanigans and the college rivalry that would be building between Elphaba and Glinda. And what I really love, I love that moment where Elphaba scares her. It's kind of showing us that Elphaba isn't just being relentlessly bullied, she's also having fun while being relentlessly bullied. Let's keep watching.
Please, everyone take your seats. In today's Oz, a real sorcerer who possesses true magic has become all too rare.
Woohoo! It's our first look at Professor Goat, also known as what the bleep is his name? Professor Dinklage? No, Peter Dinklage. Professor Dillamond. Dr. Dillamond. Can we just take a second to address I don't want to say underwhelming casting announcement of Peter Dinklage, but they announced the main Wicked cast well over a year ago. And they built so much anticipation just by not announcing who was voicing Dr. Dillamond. Everyone was like, who's the goat? Is it going to be Idina Menzel in a cameo? Is it going to be something really big, like a huge announcement? I was personally pulling for a cameo from Joel Grey. And I stand by that would have been absolutely beautiful casting. But regardless, it was Peter Dinklage. And I think that's perfectly good, if not great casting. Peter Dinklage is fantastic, but like, why didn't they tell us earlier? All I can think is that there was some kind of really boring clerical reason or contract related reason. I don't know, maybe it was a contract negotiation thing, maybe they lost somebody initially. I feel like the actual reason we didn't find out for so long is probably pretty boring. But neither here nor there. It's Peter Dinklage. I want to talk about that line that we hear in the trailer. In today's Oz, a real sorcerer who possesses true magic is all too rare. That line almost entirely shifted how I think of the Land of Oz and how I think of Wicked. Because when I think of the Land of Oz, I think magic. It's the first thing I think of. The Land of Oz is a place where there are witches, where there are bubbles, where there are flying monkeys. I take for granted that Oz is a magic place. But that was once Dorothy arrived. I never stopped to think that before the events of Wicked, Oz could just be more or less a normal place that has fabulous architecture and regular monkeys. I never stopped to think that Elphaba could be the one who single-handedly turns that around and makes Oz, either directly or indirectly, the magical place that we all know and love. And that is prequel magic. It's like the striped socks. Show me how the world that I know came into being. Oh, and also, I don't have the energy to do it, but someone please just transcribe everything that's in this magic textbook and let me know what it says. Let's move on.
Absolutely remarkable. That was you who made all that happen. How did you do it?
I don't know. I've never known.
Whew. See, it's going back to what I said. This Oz, the Oz at the beginning of Wicked, is a place where magic is scarce and virtually non-existent, and that is why everyone is so shaken up by Elphaba. And I know, it feels like I'm just regurgitating the plot of Wicked, but I guess the penny never really dropped for me. That this is the story about someone who's ostracized because she looks different, and then she's exploited because she adds value through her difference. I mean, not her greenness, but her magicalness. It's so good. But you know what else is so good? Practical effects. I said it once, I will say it again. When they released that behind-the-scenes passion project mini documentary 2 days ago from when this video was recorded, my absolute favorite moment was seeing when they raised Nesseros up in the air. Presumably that's one of the earlier moments when Elphaba is like, no, wait, I need to look after her, and then she magics her back into her safe green hands. That would have been so easy for them to do with CGI, but the spectacle and the magic would not have measured up, not even close. And just think, if that's what they're doing with an early flying scene with Nesseros, imagine what they will do when Elphaba takes up the broom and starts soaring the western skies. Let's keep watching.
You, come with me.
Of course.
Not you. You.
It's such a short shot, but I love seeing that little glimpse of Shiz University at night. I think we see some people dancing in the background. Pretty sure that's going to be Dancing Through Life. But if we're going back to attention to detail in the production design, do you notice those plants, those flowering plants on the tree, kind of in the background? They're pink and green. Because of course they are. Let's keep watching.
Glinda?
Yeoh!
I know. It's my granny's. I'd give it away, but I don't hate anyone that much.
Hey.
You should join us tonight. And don't tell me you have nothing to wear. Because you could wear this.
What a conniving little word that rhymes with witch. I love that they're pretty well going full Regina George with this version of Glinda. And I love that for Glinda. If she starts out that mean, I think it gives more value to the friendship as it evolves between her and Elphaba, and I don't know, a lot more weight to the character arc and the transformation that she goes through from the start of the story to the end. It's also really fun to see Bronson James and Bowen Yang as Glinda's friends. I mean, this is really all we see of them in the trailer, but I just get the feeling that they're going to kind of steal every scene that they're in. And let's talk about the hat. It's smaller than I thought it would be. You know, the rim isn't as majestic as I'm used to seeing on a Wicked Witch hat. I don't know, I really liked the hat in the first trailer. I'm not liking it as much in this trailer. And yes, I know it's the same hat. My tastes are evolving. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. Let's keep watching.
Something has changed within me.
She doesn't give a twig what anyone thinks.
Something is not the same.
Of course she does. She just pretends not to.
I'm realizing now this is a very Glinda-forward trailer. We're like more than halfway through, and this is the first time we're really seeing anything of substance coming from Elphaba. Which, I don't know, neither here nor there, I just think it's interesting. It makes me wonder if we'll get like a more Elphaba's perspective trailer going forward, but either way, I have no notes. I mean, it's Cynthia Erivo. We knew it was going to be perfect. Everything I'm seeing is pretty damn perfect. She sounds great. I love the quiet intensity in her voice in those first few words. Even more than that, we are reading such beautiful, subtle, profound sadness on her face. I mean, I knew Cynthia Erivo was an incredible stage performer, but I haven't really seen a ton of her film work. She does subtlety so beautifully, just based on what we're seeing in the trailer. Oh, she's the full Elphaba package. Also, let's talk about that hug. That's an intense hug that we're seeing between Glinda and Elphaba, and it's making me wonder if maybe they're fleshing out the story to add a little bit more weight, a little bit more oomph, because I'm fairly certain we all know when this is in the story. This is probably the Ozdust Ballroom. She's shown up in the hat, she's humiliated, and yeah, of course, Glinda's gonna feel a little bit guilty. Of course, Elphaba's gonna feel a little bit self-conscious, but I don't know. I feel like we're seeing next level sadness and consoling on both parties' faces, and I want to believe that there's something deeper happening here story-wise. This is the kind of stuff that I'm hoping they've added to justify fleshing out Wicked into 2 film. Let's keep going.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz summons you to the Emerald City. Come with me.
What?
To meet the wizard.
I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming.
I get such Chenoweth vibes on that little, I'm coming. So cute. But you know what? Let's rewind a little bit. I am absolutely tickled that the way the wizard sends correspondence in Oz is via mini hot air balloon. That is just next level world building. And it is so clever. Because the balloon showing up to deliver a letter, it is flashy. It is performative. But you know what it is not? Magical. Just like the wizard. He can put on a show, but there is absolutely no magic behind it. People are so distracted by the balloon showing up and the fact that it's coming from the wizard that they don't really take a moment to realize, wait, there's nothing magical about what's happening here. And it is such a brilliant detail. Speaking of brilliant details, am I the only one who's excited to see that brand new Oz typography just dropped? All the Gen X and Millennial Oz fans out there, let me know. Did you also grow up watching Return to Oz and then going through a phase where you drew an O with a Z intersecting it like it appears on the key and on Ozma's like little head crown? Because I know I did, and so seeing a brand new typography design for how O and Z can be married together, it's nerdy, but it excites me a lot. And did anyone else notice that written on the invitation is the word ceremoniously? I know that's how they talk in Wicked, but I legit thought it was just Wicked slang and not like the actual vernacular of the Land of Oz. But to go back to the world building and the production design that I am just so obsessed with this movie, this is the first time in the trailer we're getting a really good look at the Emerald City aesthetic. The shades of green and gold, the Art Deco style, the embellishments. It's a world that I want to step into. Universal, epic universe, please give me Oz, Wicked's version. Let's keep watching.
The great and terrible.
Okay, the first time I saw these few seconds of the trailer, two thoughts came to mind. The first was, oh my gosh, that wizard head is terrifying, massive, spectacular, love it, no notes. The second thing was, why do they have monkeys as guards? But then I realized, you know what? There's probably a very good reason that they have monkeys as guards in the Emerald City instead of humans, and that is because in Oz, all animals can talk. But the major plot point, the major conflict in Wicked is that the wizard is creating this regime where animals are bullied and abused essentially out of their ability to think and to speak. And I think that's what we're seeing here with these subservient monkeys. I think this whole community of monkeys are a prime example of what animals are going through in Oz. They're essentially being forced into positions of servitude. They're losing all agency. It's kind of terrifying. Obviously, the reason the monkeys are there is so that they can become the flying monkeys, but again, it all comes back to prequel mentality. What story reason is there for them to be there in the first place?
Something bad is happening in Oz.
The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
So on the topic of the flying monkeys, we get that one close-up shot of the monkey looking pretty terrifying, and maybe it's just because I've been exposed to a lot of promotional material for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, that's the movie that came out recently, but my initial thought was, is that a monkey or is that an ape? And so I went to my favorite resource, Google, to find out what is the difference between an ape and a monkey. Now, I'm sure there are lots of characteristics that distinguish one creature from the other, but the first search result I saw was monkeys have tails. And I went back and I double checked. These flying monkeys have tails, so don't worry everyone, we can safely say they are monkeys, even if they do kind of look like apes. Also, musically, that background music. Does anyone else get Return to Oz vibes? You know, if you think about the music that opens up the Return to Oz movie, it's like do 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 do. I think the musical interval might be the same in this part of the trailer. Like, I'm pretty sure I heard a do do, unless I'm just not remembering Return to Oz correctly. But in my Oz loving heart, I want to believe that connection was intentional. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm sorry. I know that it was a really quick section of the trailer, but I love those two shots of just showing Munchkinland's reaction to Elphaba's death. Seeing that poster, that terrifying poster of her face, and then seeing the Elfie effigy going up in flames. These are the scenes that were predominantly a part of those leaks that we saw from the Wicked set like just over a year ago. So seeing it properly now in the context of the film is so cool. And just knowing that No One Mourns the Wicked is probably going to be centered around this statue of Elphaba going up in flames. What an incredible opening for the film. And it is such a cool parallel to Margaret Hamilton's entrance and exit in the Munchkinland scene in the 39 Wizard of Oz movie. Because in that movie, the Wicked Witch of the West going up in flames is like a signifier of terror. In this movie, in this context, it's a signifier of rejoice. And so that antithesis is the kind of stuff that makes me really excited. Okay, let's keep watching.
You have no real power.
That's why I need you.
Don't let her get away! This wicked witch.
Okay. I love Michelle Yeoh. I'm a little on the fence. Like, I'm not sold with this delivery when she says this wicked witch. And now just hear me out. Yes, I know it's the trailer, but that moment on stage has so much oomph, so much power. It's midway through Defying Gravity, and it's a pivotal moment for Madame Morrible because it's the first time you see her drop the facade and really show her true colors as a vicious, tyrannical, evil witch.
not.
This is a crucial moment in the story because this is the first time Elphaba is given that title. And this moment,
This wicked witch.
I'm getting a very similar vibe from what Michelle Yeoh has shown me in the first chunk of the trailer. So I'm not seeing that character shift, plus the way that it's shot. You know, she's so overexposed, I can't see her face. And I am all here for adapting something and embracing subtlety for a filmic adaptation of a stage show. But I still want the power of that moment to land in a similar way. And the way I'm seeing it in this trailer is not doing it for me. But again, it's a trailer, and I can't just go through all 3.5 minutes saying everything is great. So that is my one piece of constructive criticism for the whole thing. That said, you know what I loved in this sequence? The hot air balloon. Seeing Elphie and Glinda hijacking the wizard's hot air balloon, it was everything I wanted and didn't know I wanted. Okay. I've watched this trailer a lot, and there is so much happening visually that took me a few watches to realize that we are actually hearing a good, decent chunk of Defying Gravity. First impression, I think there is a beautiful natural blend to the timbre, I think I'm using the right term, of Ariana Grande's voice and Cynthia Erivo's voice. Cynthia Erivo. When I heard the Wicked movie was going to happen, I kind of set low expectations for Defying Gravity because I honestly didn't think anybody could meet the standard and the expectations that myself and probably the rest of the worldwide Wicked fans would have for that song. Just this little snippet that we're hearing, Cynthia is like meeting, if not exceeding, that standard. It is so good. Now with that said, and this is probably another it's a trailer thing and not a it's a creative choice for the movie thing, I don't love the music that we're hearing backing Cynthia's vocals for Defying Gravity. Now, I'm pretty sure they did just take her isolated vocal track and they put it over top of the film score. But when we get the actual movie and the soundtrack, like, I need the percussion for that part. I need, so if you care to find me, look to the western sky. I know I said percussion, but like, imagine there were drums behind that. Like, that's what I want. That's what I need. Give me drums. Let's keep watching.
Don't be afraid.
Okay, wait. Two things. First, well, I'm of two minds here. Obviously, I'm very excited to see as much of this movie as I possibly can, but also, why are they showing us what will probably be the most pivotal moment of the first film when Elphaba summons the broom right before she flies off in Defying Gravity? Like, why are they giving that to us? I kind of want to be surprised in the theater. But anyway, let's talk about this clip that I think is going to break the Wicked internet. Like, the Wicked, the Oz side of the internet. It's Little Elphaba. Seeing Little Elphaba, it kind of makes me understand why maybe she was so emotional in that Ozdust ballroom scene earlier on in the trailer. And now, this is not information that I have from watching the trailer, but just information that I saw floating around the internet. They did a casting call for Little Nessarose probably about a year ago, which means that Nessarose is definitely going to be a part of that flashback. You know, I stand by my belief that Elphaba has a pretty thick skin. I don't think she'd be fazed by people laughing at her at a dance, but I do think she'd be fazed at just like another instance of feeling like she's humiliated her little sister, the person that I believe she loves more than probably anyone in the world, at least up until that point in the story. So if they can really build up that relationship between those two, I feel that's another layer that's really going to justify Wicked being split into two parts and adding literal hours of more material into the story. All right, let's wrap it up. Boom.
I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Oh. Again, why are they showing us one of the most pivotal moments from the first movie? I don't know. It is really cool to see life brought to that first look image that we got of Cynthia as Elphaba a few months ago. You know, that image of her from behind in that round window of the Emerald City. Seeing that in the context of the movie, absolutely beautiful. That shot of her bursting through the glass and flying away, presumably during the climax of Defying Gravity, absolutely beautiful. But it does make me think, how are they actually going to bring Defying Gravity onto film in a way that works. You know, in the stage show, the spectacle is just the action of seeing the actress suspend and rise into the air, the gorgeous visual of her towering above everyone else. You can't sustain that in a film. I mean, they gave us the visual of her flying in just a few seconds here, so it just makes me think back. It makes me think back to the shot of Margaret Hamilton in 39 Wizard of Oz flying over Emerald City spelling Surrender Dorothy. Like, is Cynthia Erivo just going to be there on a broom with a rear projected sky singing a good minute and a half of the song? Like, so if you care to find me, look to the western sky. And then we can cut and show how she's spelling out like the word wicked in smoke. And then the citizens of Emerald City can all point to the word wicked in skywriting and sing, look at her, she's wicked, get her. And then maybe she even spells out all the lyrics of the song and it's like a sing-along. And the witch hat is bouncing along. It's a good thing I'm not directing this movie. Anyway, friends, that said, that is the trailer for Wicked, and this concludes yet another episode of Teacup for One. Now let me know in the comment section down below, what was your favorite moment of the trailer, and what are you looking most forward to with this film? And if you want to be the first to know when I release more videos talking about Wicked, Oz, Disney, Shakespeare, Cats, Funko Pops, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And if you haven't subscribed already, it is so easy. All you gotta do is click on my face. Thanks for joining me today, everyone. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and that's the T cup for one. La 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 yo.